Welcome back to Spartan Life Radio. I'm your host, Cheryl Wilkerson. So glad I'm with you on a Sunday afternoon. You all are my Sunday afternoon dates. And, we had a great first half of the show, and we're following it up with an exceptional second half of the show. I can guarantee that because Ashley Jones is on the line with me today. Her company is Tones of Melanin, and I am so excited to welcome her to Spartan Life Radio. Behold the green and gold, Ashley.
Behold.
So Ashley, of course, is a Spartan. What years did you attend Norfolk State University?
I attended Norfolk State from 2011 until 2015, and I briefly came back in 2016 to do my master's, but I didn't finish.
Okay, but you got time. It's okay. All right. But I understand why you didn't finish because you've got it popping all over the internet. People are going to actually love some of your work because I know they're going to run to their phones and their devices to check out your work. So first and foremost, tell us about your early beginnings. How did you make it to Norfolk State? Why Norfolk State? Were you born here?
Yes. So I'm from this area. I'm from Virginia Beach. My dad attended for a brief stint at Norfolk State, and then I had a few family members that also attended Norfolk State, and it was honestly like home. It was right around the corner. I grew up in the atmosphere, but I really didn't. I guess you could say I didn't really get immersed into it until I actually attended. But I'm a Norfolk State baby. All of my family went there.
Okay, so you got it honestly, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
And when it came time for you to pick a college and a major, was it just automatic in your head that you were going to Norfolk State? And what was your major? What did you decide when it came to that?
I would love to say that it was, but it honestly wasn't. I had visited Hampton, believe it or not, for their high school day. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. Like, I want to go here. But when it came down to making it make sense, the price of going to Hampton, it was too much. My mom, she kind of got me back to life and was like, look, the amount of money that we'll spend for 1 year at Hampton is like your whole entire tenure at Norfolk State. So, make a good decision because, this is the money that you pretty much are going to owe. So which one would you rather pick, paying that for a year, or would you pay that for, all four?
Mm-hmm.
When I attended Norfolk State, I originally wanted to be a physical therapist. I got into the kinesiology program, and I was doing pretty well, but my heart wasn't there. I had talked to some of my professors, and they kind of gave me a rundown of what to expect with the kinesiology degree. And it was like pretty much, if you want to get into physical therapy, you're going to have to go to grad school. And at that time, I was like, I don't know if this is a good fit. And I found that business, more, I guess you could say, better fit me. And I decided to major in business, and I took off from there.
Did you join any clubs or sororities or anything like that when you were at Norfolk State?
Yes, ma'am. I'm a member of Epsilon Theta chapter of Delta Sigma Theta. I was a part of SGA, NAACP, anything. I was a little sister circle, anything that you could think of. I pretty much joined. I was really into campus life. I wanted to get the full college experience while I was there.
And since you were from Virginia Beach, did you actually live on campus or did you commute?
My freshman year, my mom said you're going to get the real, college experience. So I stayed on campus my first year, but the following 3 years I did at home because I literally stayed maybe 15 minutes away from campus.
You know what I love about you, Ashley? I love how you have just mentioned your mother and your father and your family so much already into this interview. I just love that. I just love that the family is just so important. And, sometimes young people kind of turn their backs. Oh, they don't know what they're talking about or they're whatever. But I can hear in your voice that you really value, what your parents were saying to you at that time.
I really did. It was unfamiliar territory for me. I didn't know what I was going to do, honestly, when I graduated. I just graduated, and I was like, well, I guess college is next. So, I leaned on my family to kind of give me guidance on things that I didn't understand because, like I said, it was a whole new world. I didn't understand FAFSA and all of those like different things that go into it.
When you graduated, what was the next step you did after you walked off the stage and got that diploma? What was next for Ashley?
The next thing I did was apply for jobs. I went crazy. I applied for everything, and I honestly could not get a job anywhere. I finally got a job, I want to say maybe in August. Of course, I graduated was in May.
Right.
And I knew it wasn't going to be my forever job. While there, and I was like, I have to figure out something else. So I ended up applying for the master's program, and I got into it in time for that actual August date. And I also seen that through my emails, they had an opportunity for me to become a GA. And I was like, I want to work back at Norfolk State. Like, I love the family dynamic. I love everything about HBCUs. So I ended up being a GA at Norfolk State, but I wasn't like your normal GA where I stayed in the dorms.
Mm-hmm.
I was in charge of helping keep freshmen in college. So we had planned different activities and different community little learning centers and things like that.
Okay. So you did that while you took that job?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And how long did you do that? Both of those
So I stayed at my previous job until, I want to say, maybe November, and my GA position started in November as well. So I did that from November of, I think, 2015 until, I want to say, maybe May of 2016.
Okay. What was next?
I took my business full time. I started creating, during this whole entire time, I was creating Greek paraphernalia. And I had looked at when I was working at those current jobs, I was losing out on money. I was like, I'm losing money actually being here, not, the other way around, where you feel like a lot of times people tell you, you have to stay at your real job until the part-time job makes more money. And my part-time was making far more. And I was losing out on opportunities because, I get off 5 o'clock and I don't have time to do my part-time.
Right. Okay. Well, this creator brain, where does this come from? Mom, dad, great grandmother? Just Ashley was born with it. Where's this creativity come from?
I feel like I was allowed to dream. When I graduated college, the whole entire time, like I was a graphic designer by trade. I started learning when I was 13. I used to do the MySpace pages. I just randomly picked it up. I didn't have a background in drawing or anything of that nature. I just kept tweaking, and I learned how to do graphic design, and I did it very well. And that turned into the clothing line. But the whole entire time, my mom allowed me to dream. She allowed me to try different programs. She used to take me to, I was like 14, meeting up with clients so that they could pay me. I could work on their website. And I feel like I was birthed into a place where my whole entire family, they all, assisted me along this whole entire journey. My dad, he doesn't do it anymore, but he was at Norfolk State. He was an art major, so he knew how to draw. So I guess I get the creativity from that side, but the ability to apply it to business, I most definitely get that from my mother's side, because they own one of the first Black-owned beauty companies in the area, beauty supply company, excuse me.
That is absolutely awesome. As my people in my family used to say, you come from good stock.
I would love to say that.
If you just joined us, I'm speaking with Ashley Jones, and she is Norfolk State Spartan at heart, and she is now the owner of this really, really wonderful and creative streetwear brand, and we're going to get into that. Tell us the name of your streetwear brand.
It's called Tones of Melanin.
Where does that come from?
So while drafting the name of the business, I kind of hit a fork in the road. I have no idea what to call it. I wanted to stand for, the Black culture. And I was like, I just want to, highlight different shades of people and different people. And my little sister was like, Tones of Melanin. So she came up with the name,
really?
Actually. Yes.
Shout out to little sister. I mean, the whole family's got it going on. I like that.
Thank you.
And you went along with it. It wasn't like, oh, you're the little sister, you don't know what you're talking about. You knew immediately when she said it, that was it?
I started thinking out, so I started visualizing how would the logo look, how would that look, and I was like, that's perfect. So it wasn't like any rebuttal, like, what about this? I was like, that's the one.
And what year was this?
This had to be 2017.
2017. Okay. All right. So you decided to create this brand. And like you said, you always loved the culture of an HBCU. So that just came naturally to you that was going to be it.
Yes, ma'am.
Did your being in these groups and all of that, did that have any part in it as well?
Absolutely. So every year for homecoming, while I was there, I did the flyers, I did the T-shirts. And I was like, the items that I'm like the little T-shirt design that I'm designing for the school, the whole entire school that they're giving away for free, like it looks better than anything that's in the bookstore. So it kind of drove me into like creating things on my own, I was like, I want this to be represent. Like, I want this to represent my institution. So it kind of gave me the background for design.
And as you say on your website, Tones of Melanin is more than just a T-shirt or a hoodie. So explain that.
We want to be kind of the all-in-one place to get HBCU news, HBCU apparel, and actually, like, we're in the process of trying to actually help HBCUs with enrollment through us having events, using our social media, kind of like a walking, or not walking, but a digital, I guess we say, billboard, using us to put your message out there to the masses, because we have a big following. We pretty much have a bigger following than most institutions around. We have, I think, roughly 60,000 followers now that follow the page just on our Instagram.
Do you think that, how do I ask this? Do you think that the recent spotlight in the last couple of years on HBCU has helped you tremendously? Or do you think, well, yeah, it's helped a little bit, but it wasn't the driving force? Or do you think it really has had nothing to do with it?
I think it is the driving force. When the pandemic happened and we've seen all the tragedies that happened with, like, police brutality and all those things, parents started wanting to send their children to HBCUs. They were like, let's go back to our grassroots. Let's send them where they're appreciated and celebrated, not just tolerated. So we've seen a resurgence. I think almost all HBCUs seen an incline in enrollment after the pandemic. And then you also had Deion Sanders come out and he started coaching for Jackson. So they've seen a huge resurgence in the sports arena. And then you had our vice president, who is an HBCU grad, so people can no longer use the excuse that HBCUs don't prepare you for the world, because if it prepared the vice president, who is it not preparing?
And I remember when Beyonce did that video. Was it a video? Homecoming?
Yep.
Was that Homecoming? Yeah.
Yes.
And I just remember I was in another radio station, and it was just interesting. I didn't have to say a word, and these white people were in there, and they were talking about, they knew a little bit about it because HBCUs had been in the news, and it had awakened them to HBCUs, because before all of this, like you said, they really didn't know, and we weren't really sending our children there with such pride as the pride that you see today.
Yes, ma'am.
I have people that would tell me that they didn't even go to an HBCU. A lady told me she didn't even go to an HBCU. She says, but every month she sends some money to an HBCU. True story.
And that's what we need. I don't want to see another HBCU closed. I feel like those days should be over. We have schools opening back up, like Morris Brown. So yes. We need to, all of us, even though we didn't attend Morris Brown, we need to send our kids there. We need to send funds there. Anything that can help in that whole entire rebranding. Was another one shouldn't close. That's history that's closing.
I have another elder that told me she will always live in a town where an HBCU is nearby. And when they told me this, that had to have been about 20 years ago. She told me that. And I didn't get it then, but I get it now.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's community. I feel like I love Norfolk State, but we need to have our community a little bit more deeply invested into it. When you go down south to the bigger school, not bigger, but the southern schools like Jackson and all of those that's like in Mississippi, those schools are thriving because the community is behind it. Kind of what they do with like Virginia Tech, the whole entire city's dedicated to it.
Yes.
So why isn't Norfolk dedicated to Norfolk State? We should have the kids there all the time. Like, everybody should be going to the games. There should be our community there supporting.
And to your business, whenever I looked, I have a niece and a nephew that both went to Virginia Tech, both played in the band. So I would go and support them, right? And nobody goes to those games without paraphernalia on their body. All their T-shirts, you don't see anybody in just a regular shirt or whatever. Yeah. I don't care how old they are. I don't care how young they are. If it's the opposing team, they have on their street, their school colors or whatever. But you just don't see anything else. And then I come back to Norfolk State, and I remember being at a game this year, and I was looking around, and I was like, what would it be like if everybody that walked through here had on Norfolk State paraphernalia?
Absolutely. Like I said, we have to get the community back at Norfolk State. We live Norfolk. It's a primarily black city. Why aren't at least the children going for free? If you let the children go to games for free, I'm pretty sure the parents are going to come and support. And that's how you get, the next wave of the next generation to come to your institution. They're used to it. They love the culture. So I think we just got to, put a little bit more resources into our direct community.
Put more resources into the community. And yeah, you're right. I stay in Richmond many times, and I see Virginia Union, and nearby Virginia State, and all of the HBCUs. It's this awakening, and people are coming up, and it's a very exciting time. Now, I have to tell you, I was on campus the other week when somebody wanted to call in a bomb threat, and Ashley, that was stressful. Okay, that was really stressful.
I don't imagine.
But for the most part, it's a great time to be around or on or attend an HBCU, or like you said, donate to an HBCU. It really is.
Absolutely. There's some now that are actually they're targeting hiring HBCU grads. They're coming there directly just because they really want that element into their workplace. It's a proven fact that African Americans go to the HBCU, they perform better. This is scientific research.
Well, I do have to tell you one thing I got a little attitude about, and it's probably petty, but it was just me being petty. Recently we have March Madness going on, right? And I was in the kitchen the other day doing something, and I hear this familiar song, and it was two PWIs, and they're playing the songs that we play at the football games. And I'm like, I got a little attitude about that. Actually, I really did. I'm like, can we just have our song, please? It doesn't even sound the same. But that just goes to show that they aren't truly, truly looking at us, right? Like you said, for jobs and everything else.
Absolutely. It's the culture. It's addicting. You see the joy. So they want a little piece of that joy, the joy that we get when you hear the band playing and how the crowd reacts. So they want their crowd to react the same way. So, of course, they're going to try to copy the same songs that we play to get the same reaction. Tell us more about your company. So people can actually go online, and what will they see when they go to your website? They'll see we currently have over 40 different HBCU licensing. We're in the process now of releasing our spring line. We're dropping some reversal basketball shorts, some basketball tops, baseball jerseys, a few T-shirts, and some more shorts. And we're in Dick's Sporting Goods. We're in Belk department stores. We're on Fanatics. And we're not in Norfolk State bookstore yet, but we're working on it. But we're in about 18 different HBCU bookstores. I just love those jogger shorts. I think they are the cutest thing. And so thank you. With all these different licensing agreements that you have, that means that in the world of business, you can sell the apparel from that university or that school, that institution, correct? Absolutely. We want to do it the correct way. When you do it the correct way, the institution, they get a piece of that. So anytime I sell, the institution gets anywhere between 8 to 15% in royalties, and that's helping, bring money back into the school. So when you buy a shirt, you are supporting not just by wearing it, but you're giving money back to that institution. And Ashley, did you just know all of this? I mean, did you know how to go about the business of dealing with the HBCUs? Did you know what department to contact to begin the journey to try to get the license? And how did you figure all of that out? Or did you have a lawyer that did that? Walk us down that road. It was absolutely trial and error. I tried applying, and I was waiting. I didn't hear anything back. So I'm like, I'm still going to fail. So in the process, I was still waiting. And then they were like, hey, you're not supposed to be selling, so you can't sell anything right now. So I had to get everything right so that I could resell. So I had lost my license for the whole month of March last year, but I got it right back in February. In April, I had them all back, but it was trial and error. It's a lot of jargon that I didn't understand, but it was just, using context clues and reading over and over. But I really took it on myself and just really dug deep and tried to make the best of it and understand it to the best of my abilities. Because when it comes right down to it, I would imagine these institutions really do want you selling their merchandise because that's promotion from them. They're just saying, hey, we just have a process and a program that you have to go through to make sure that's done correctly. Is that it? Yes, ma'am, but there is a third party in between both of us. And a lot of times the third party, they represent almost anything. They represent Duke, UNC, so it's not just HBCUs. They're just the middleman. And a lot of times they don't understand how serious like it is for us to carry these products. Like we really want to carry it so that, you know, we can represent the culture. Like that was my biggest thing. I wanted to make items that we wear. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to wear a polo to a basketball game. That's not what I want to wear a T-shirt that looks like something that I would wear in everyday fashion. So making sure that the third party understood how serious we're taking it so that they could relay the message to the institution. Like, okay, come on, they're trying. Come meet them halfway.
So you just taught me something right there. So I would not have I would not have imagined that, first of all, that a third party was there, because I'm like, how can we get them out of the picture? And then I'm imagining that you've got to explain the culture to people that are in business so you can even do business with your own culture.
Exactly. And a lot of times, I hate to say it, but the third party, they don't look like us, they don't sound like us, so they don't understand our culture. So now I have to, unpack that layer. Even when it comes down to being in stores, a lot of times they have buyers that don't look like me or sound like me. So I have to, make them understand, okay, this is really going to work this season. But I would say with Belk, they're one of the best ones. They're the reason that we're in stores right now. They created a whole a black division of Belk, where it's black creators and black businesses that they have their products on their site.
A whole division.
Yes, so it's not like just for Black History Month. They're doing this 365.
Okay, because they get it. So they probably have some people that are making those decisions that look like us, huh?
Absolutely. They have a driving force. It's a whole team that's making sure that everything makes sense.
So where do you want the company to go? Where is it going from here?
From here, I want to dive into getting into the band culture, doing the warm-up for different bands. We had the privilege of doing Virginia State Band, and I want to keep doing that because I feel like the band doesn't get love. But a lot of times, even when the team is terrible, people are coming out to see that band.
Yes.
But they're not getting sponsorships from Nike. They're getting like the hand-me-downs from the basketball team, the football teams. But I want to highlight them. I want to go to them first, and then maybe get into the athletic departments and doing jerseys and things of that nature. But I really want to focus on the band.
So I might be out of line, and you can just tell me, Cheryl, we can't talk about that. But our Spartans, our mighty Spartans, are going to go to Pasadena to the Tournament of Roses parade. So I would imagine that it's on your wish list that you would be able to have a hand in that.
Absolutely. Like we're working on that now. My team, that's our goal for this spring, is we're creating a ACC directory so that we can, contact all these bands to get them right. If it isn't this year, then next year they're outfitting in Tones of Melanin, because I'm giving them better quality products than what they're getting. It's made specifically for them. This isn't a hand-me-down, and I'm providing prices that's a lot of times cheaper than what they're already getting.
You are employing other people?
Yes.
A guesstimate of how many other people?
On average, we have in our warehouse maybe 7, but during peak seasons, it can get up to maybe 10 to 12 people here.
What is peak season? Explain that to me. What is peak season for your company?
So honestly, this upcoming peak season is going to be a little bit different. Our peak season probably this year is going to be from I would say July until early January, and that's covering back to school, all of the homecomings, and then you have holidays. So it's kind of like a huge influx of orders in between that July to end of January timing.
I would imagine that you made a business decision, or tell me if I'm wrong. What you do for these universities, do you do the same thing for sororities and fraternities?
Not right now. I kind of got out of the sorority and fraternity lane, but I do have my licensing for a few, so I'm getting back into it. I honestly didn't have the time, and my heart kind of led me more into the HBCU division than the sorority and fraternity. So I did that for so long, but I'm going back to that.
You're going back to that, and and while I'm saying that to you, I'm thinking about other organizations such as like the Lynx and Jack and Jill and the Boule, the Guardsmen, things like that. I'm thinking that, those people that are in those organizations, they're proud to be in those organizations, and they want to tell the world. And I'm just thinking that, Tones of Melanin is right up their alley.
I believe so as well. But the biggest thing for me is understanding. I don't want to produce anything that I don't understand. I feel like when I understand
Mm-hmm.
different organizations and different schools, I can make a better design because I understand you. So of course I would love to, but I'll have to get a little bit more research into these other organizations and make sure that I can make things that make sense and it looks nice.
And you would need to understand, because as you just taught me and everybody listening, then you probably got to turn around and teach the third party, right?
Yes, third party have to teach my staff. They have to be well versed. They have to understand what they're sending out. You don't want, people getting sent the wrong organization items because they don't understand it. But yeah, absolutely.
How much is your family involved with the business?
Very involved. My my grandparents watch my daughter while I work, so that's a huge thing.
Yes.
Having child care. My mom picks her up when I need her to sometimes. My boyfriend who works with the company, my sister, she comes in every once in a while and helps out when need be. And anytime I need help, my family comes through and try to help to their best of abilities. My operation manager is my cousin. My vendor management is another cousin. So, but they fit in. They weren't picked because they were family. They actually fit in perfectly into the system with the knowledge that they had and the work experience that they had before.
This warms my heart to hear you say that. I just heard somebody say the other day on the radio, I was listening to a show and talking about how bad it is to go into business with family and friends. I mean, they actually said that. They were saying that. And you are just proving this to be wrong. And, you are building up. It's not just wealth. That's not the word. What is the word I want? You are building something that future generations can be proud of, that they can be a part of. You're building a dynasty here.
Thank you. I pray so.
You certainly are. You certainly are. Tell everybody where they can go and get your works and look at your works, and just tell them about where you are on social media.
Okay. You can follow us on all social media platforms at Tones of Melanin, TONESOFMELANIN. You can go on our website, tonesofmelanin.com, TONESOFMELANIN. And if you guys are in the Suffolk area, our spring release is coming to the store as of this week. You can purchase some Norfolk State items and also some Virginia State items. I believe they might even have a little bit of Hampton in there as well.
And where?
In the Belk Department Store. It's located in Suffolk. I believe it's not too far from downtown Suffolk.
And if you're just joining us, I don't want you to think it's just all Norfolk State University. If you have a cousin or somebody and they went to an HBCU, as Ashley explained earlier, you said you have licensing agreements with how many other universities?
It's a little over 40. I can't remember the hard number, but it's about 40 institutions.
That is awesome. So it's very easy for them to hop on the internet and just pick something from your store and send it to a loved one, correct?
Absolutely, it is.
Man, I was just thinking about you in advance of doing this interview, and I was thinking about you again. I was watching basketball the other day, and I was like, you know what? One day I'm going to look up, and Ashley is going to be out. Of course, Spartans are going to be there winning everything, and Ashley is going to be the one outfitting everybody, and it's just going to be a marriage made in heaven there. I'm putting that in the universe, Ashley.
I receive it. It's going to happen. It's going to. I know it is.
And again, all of the creations for the clothing come out of your brain, or you have the whole team working on these ideas?
My brain, my little brain.
Just you, Ashley?
Yeah, I do all the designing.
Okay, don't be offended by this, but I'm going to call you the Tyler Perry of street brand apparel, okay? Because you know how he does it all with the writing and everything.
Yes.
Because, I thought you were going to say, oh, I get the team, we get together and we figure it out. But now that's what I lack. My mother, she could look at a dress on a hanger and she like, that dress would look nice on you, or that dress won't look nice on you. I don't have any of that. You give me a blank piece of paper and tell me to create something on it, it's going to remain blank, Ashley, okay? I don't have that.
We all have our gifts. Like, if you ask me to do anything musically, I am not your girl. I can't hum on beat. But if you ask me to make something on Photoshop, I can say I got you.
Oh my gosh, it is amazing. I'm really, really, really proud of you. You talked about you didn't finish that master's. When you can always come back to Norfolk State and finish it whenever.
I would love to. I need North State to offer that MBA program, and I'm there.
You are on a mission, aren't you?
I told them I was there. I said I need an MBA program so I can get some more of my money. They ain't listen, but hopefully, maybe I can make them do that. So let's see if I can. Hopefully, I can make that happen one day.
Now, Ashley, tell me this: since you're so close, do you ever come on campus for any other reasons? Do you ever grace us here at Norfolk State University?
Not as much as before, only because of COVID. But before, I would come up there all the time. Like I went to a game, one of our home games, not too long ago. But because of COVID, campus kind of been shut down. But I think I'm going to start coming back, around a little bit more. I've got in touch with some of the faculty and staff, and they want to, implement some of my stuff there. So hopefully, you guys will see a lot more of me the rest of this spring and hopefully next year as well.
Yeah, that's true. I would love to meet you in person. Like, many times the radio station, we go out to the football games, and I would love to have you come around the bend and tell me, oh, I'm Ashley, and just love to meet you and just give you a hug, because all the positivity that's coming out of you, that is contagious. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So I know you're known on the worldwide stage. What do your friends say about all your successes? What do they look at you and say, Ashley?
They joke me. My friends, they're very down to earth. So a lot of my friends, they're now intertwined in the business now. Like, so I've been, sharing the wealth a little bit. But I don't know. They're proud of me, but they always say we knew this from the beginning. This isn't anything new, so nothing surprises them at this point.
Man, you all are just like old hat at this, like some little old ladies, Wow. If you all don't know, if you all have missed this interview, well, you've got to go back and pick it up on our website, because Ashley Jones has joined us today. I'm going to let you tell your website and all your social media handles and all of that. So people, I really, Ashley, want them to go right now, pick up their phone or their iPad or whatever, and look at what you have created. So go ahead and give them the information.
It's tonesofmelanin.com. All of our social media, once again, is Tones of Melanin, TONESOFMELANIN.
Okay, you are on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram, Twitter. We have a TikTok. I have a LinkedIn for Tones of Melanin. I have a Facebook. I even have a YouTube. So just about anything you can think of, we have.
Now, do you do all of that too yourself?
No, I have a social media manager. Shout out to Calvin, Blue Cloud Radio. He does social media management. So if anybody needs that, make sure you guys check it out. It's Blue Cloud Radio, BLU Cloud, regular cloud, CLOUD Radio, RADIO. You can find them on Instagram.
And before we get out of here, I have to give love to another Spartan, another Norfolk State grad that connected us, Courtney Haywood.
Yes, my PR. She's amazing.
And to think all of these brilliant minds from Norfolk State University. I just can't stop saying that enough, okay? So it has been so very nice. Thank you for taking out the time and speaking with us today. I wish you the very, very best. I will be going onto your website. I will be making some purchases. I'm going to wait for that spring line to hit, and I'm going to be walking around the neighborhood with my joggers on. You notice I said I won't be jogging, right? But I'll be walking around the neighborhood with those joggers on, and I'm just wishing you the absolute very best.
Thank you so much.
Not a problem. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Ashley Jones, Tones of Melanin. Check her out. Also, don't forget our first guest, Keishorne Scott, the author, and he's a TV personality and all of that. He's got all those books. And you might want to really check out The Mouse, the Bird, the Dog, and the Lion. And I just want to thank you all for joining me every Sunday, because you do not have to do it. I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll do it again next Sunday, Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Cheryl Wilkerson, Spartan Life Radio. Behold the green and gold.